My name is Max. I don't know how long I've got left, but I know it's not much. You don't need to speak it. It's in the way the air feels, the way the house is quieter, the way my human looks at me now, soft and careful, like I might disappear if they blink too fast. I just got back from the vet. I didn't like it there. I never have. Too many strange smells. Fear, sadness, and today something else. Something final. I saw it in the way the vet sighed before she spoke. I saw it in the way my human's hand trembled against my chest. I saw it in the look they gave me, the way they blinked too quickly, holding back water in their eyes. You can lie with your words, but not your scent, not your heartbeat. So now I'm lying here, where the sun still comes in just right through the window. My blanket smells like me and like my human. I'm tired, but not scared. Not really. I'm just full. Full of years, full of moments, full of memories that keep circling back like birds returning to the same old tree. Before I go, I want to remember everything. Maybe if I tell it, I won't really be gone. Maybe you'll carry a piece of me with you. Do you mind if I start from the end and walk you back through it? Like sniffing my way back home through the old paths, where every leaf still holds a story. Let me tell you what love looks like through the eyes of a dog. I remember last night, my human carried me to bed. That hasn't happened in a while. I used to leap right up, tail wagging like a flag in a storm. But now, my legs don't always listen. My body creaks and sighs like the stairs do. They lifted me so gently, like I was glass, tucked a blanket around me, kissed my head. I love you, Max, they whispered. I couldn't say it back, but I blinked slowly, pressed my nose into their chest, and let out a little sigh. It's what I do now. That's how I say everything. Earlier, we went for a walk, a short one. I used to pull on the leash like my life depended on it, dragging them toward every smell, every tree, every sound in the distance. But now I take my time. I sniff the same lampposts like I'm reading old love letters. My steps are slow. Sometimes they wait for me without saying a word. Sometimes they talk to me like they forget I don't answer with words. But I do answer. With my eyes. With the way I lean my head toward them when they speak. With the way my tail still wags. Even if only a little now. That walk. I could feel something in the wind. The trees seemed to lean closer. The birds quieted just enough to hear my own paws on the pavement. And I looked up at them, my human, my heart, and I knew they were saying goodbye without saying it. That was today, or maybe yesterday. Time gets fuzzy. But let me tell you about when I was younger. When the world was huge and my legs were clumsy and my ears were too big for my head. I don't remember much before the shelter, just that it was cold, a box maybe, a blur of noise, then bars, then barking, 100 voices crying out all at once, but then a smell, a good one, warm. Familiar, though I didn't know why. I stood up on shaky legs and peeked through the cage. They were there, my human. They didn't say anything at first. just knelt, looked at me like I was the only one there. Their eyes were soft, not like the others who came through, the ones who pointed or tapped the glass and moved on. No, this one saw me. I wagged once. They smiled. I wagged again. They laughed. The next thing I knew, the door opened. Arms wrapped around me. I felt safe. I felt home. That first ride was terrifying and wonderful. The car moved too fast, and I wasn't sure what was happening. I climbed into their lap, buried my face in their shirt, and they just whispered, "It's okay, Max. You're safe now." That was the first time I heard my name. It sounded right, like something I'd always been waiting to hear. Home was small, cozy, and full of things I wasn't supposed to chew, though I tried anyway. Shoes, pillows, a sock or two. Once, I managed to drag an entire pizza box from the trash. I thought it was a masterpiece. They didn't. But even when they scolded me, they never stopped loving me. They laughed more than they yelled, especially when I fell asleep halfway through chasing my tail or barked at my own reflection. Those early days were magic. I followed them everywhere, to the bathroom, to the kitchen, to bed. Sometimes they'd trip over me and groan, "Max, seriously?" But their hands always found my ears a moment later, scratching the spots I couldn't reach. We learned each other. I learned that the vacuum was a monster, that baths were wet betrayals, that the leash meant adventure, that stay meant please be patient, and come meant they missed me. And they learned that I was afraid of thunder, that I liked sleeping curled up against their back, that I always licked a peanut butter spoon when they weren't looking. I was there for the first heartbreak. They came home, dropped their bag, and just sat on the floor. Didn't speak, just stared. I climbed into their lap, not quite fitting anymore, but pretending I still could. They hugged me like I was the only thing keeping them together. Maybe I was. We stayed like that for hours. That's when I knew what my real job was. Not fetching, not sitting, not even guarding. It was staying, just staying. Later, there were good times again. New smells, new people. One of them stuck around. A new voice in the house. Gentle hands. Another lap to curl up in. I was wary at first, but they brought treats, and they spoke my name with kindness. That was enough. Then came the tiny humans. Loud, sticky, unpredictable. They pulled my tail and poked my nose. But they also dropped food, lots of it, and they learned to pet gently. Eventually, I watched them grow. I watched everyone grow, but I stayed the same. Same eyes, same love, same promise. I got older. My face turned white around the muzzle. My steps slowed. My tail didn't wag as fast, but it still wagged. Always. They noticed. They built me ramps. Gave me pills wrapped in cheese. They laid beside me on the floor when I couldn't make it to the bed. They whispered, "It's okay, Max," just like they did on that very first day. And here we are now, back on the blanket, back in the sun. I'm not afraid. I've had the best life. Sometimes I wonder, what will they do after I'm gone? Will they miss my paws clicking on the floor? Will they look down expecting to see me and feel a little emptiness? I hope they remember the good. The way I ran to the door every single time they came home, even if they were gone just 10 minutes. The way I kissed their tears away. The way I waited by the window when they were late, never once doubting they'd come back. I hope they remember how much I loved them. Every day, every moment, even now. If you're listening, maybe you've had a Max. Or maybe one day you will. And if you do, love them hard. Forgive them fast. Hold them close when the thunder comes. And let them go when the time does too. I'll rest soon, but I'm not gone yet. Not while you're still here, listening. Let me tell you more. Let me take you back to the beginning. There was this one day, the first time it snowed. I didn't understand it. The white stuff was cold and fluffy and stuck to my paws. I barked at it, chased it, rolled in it until I was a wet, frozen mess. My human laughed so hard they fell into the snow beside me. We lay there, both of us soaked and shivering, but happy. Another time, I ate a bee. I don't recommend it. My face puffed up like a balloon. I looked ridiculous, but they rushed me to the vet, crying, holding me like porcelain. I was fine, just embarrassed. They didn't stop laughing for days, once they knew I was okay. Then there were birthdays, not mine, theirs. But I always got a treat anyway. A little hat, pictures, and once, a cupcake I wasn't supposed to have but definitely stole. I was there for it all, and I'll keep telling you all of it. Every muddy paw print, every stolen sock, every tail wag that said, "I love you more than you'll ever know." Where was I? Oh, right, the cupcake. I don't know what frosting is made of, but I'd sell my soul for it. You should have seen their face when they came into the room and caught me mid-bite, eyes wide and tail thumping like a drum. I froze, frosting all over my snout, and they just stood there, then burst into laughter. I think that was the first time they said I was too smart for my own good. I like making them laugh. I didn't always understand why something was funny, but when they laughed, the whole face lit up. It was like the sun came out, and all I ever wanted was to keep their sun shining. As I got older, I began to understand them more. Their routines, their moods. I could tell when they were sad, even when they tried to hide it. I'd sit quietly beside them, resting my head on their lap, just being there. I never needed to know the reason. I just needed to stay. You might not realize this, but dogs feel your silence. We hear the words you don't say. We can tell when your hug lasts too long, when your voice catches at the end of a sentence. We don't need to speak your language to know when something's breaking inside you. And when that happened, I made it my job to hold you together. I remember the night they didn't come home on time. Hours passed. The house was dark. I waited by the door, tail still, ears high, when they finally stumbled in, smelling of something bitter and sadness. I didn't bark. I just walked over, sat down, and looked up at them. Their eyes were tired, lost. They collapsed on the floor and said, "It's just you and me, Max. That's all I've got." And that was enough. After that night, something changed. We were closer, quieter. They talked to me more. Not the silly, baby voice kind of talking, real talking. They'd tell me about work, about people, about pain. I didn't always understand the words, but I understood the weight, and I carried some of it for them. That's what we do, you know. We don't just fetch balls or guard doors. We carry what you can't. Your loneliness, your doubt, your sadness, and we do it gladly. Time went on. The seasons spun like a carousel. Summers full of swims and sun-drenched naps. Winters by the fire, curled up on the couch. Even when I wasn't technically allowed. They stopped trying to keep me off the furniture eventually. I think they realized I belonged everywhere they did. There was a time they left for a while. I think for work or school. I was confused. They packed bags, hugged me tight. I tried to climb into the suitcase. They laughed through tears and said, "I'll be back soon, Max." But time feels different to us. Every minute stretches. Every hour aches. I waited by the window every day. Watched cars pass. Listened for footsteps. Then one day, the door opened, and they were there. Just like before. Same scent. Same smile. I ran. Jumped. Barked. Cried. That was the best day of my life. They knelt down, held my face in their hands, and whispered, "You waited for me." Of course I did. I always will. There were people who came and went. Some stayed longer than others. Some brought new smells and routines and rules. Some left quickly, leaving behind their scent and a sadness in my human's eyes. But through it all, I was the constant. I never judged, never questioned, just stayed. Even when things got harder, I started limping on cold mornings. My eyes clouded a little. I couldn't hear as sharply. They noticed before I did. Started giving me little pills with peanut butter. Bought new beds that were lower to the ground. Carried me upstairs when I refused to admit I needed help. Sometimes I'd get frustrated at myself and my body. I try to jump like I used to and stumble. They'd rush over saying, "It's okay, Max. You're okay." I wanted to believe that, so I did. You know, we dogs don't fear getting old. We don't dread the future. We live in the now. Every belly rub, every shared meal, every lazy afternoon nap, it's everything. We don't worry about how many sunsets are left. We just soak in the one in front of us. But you humans, you feel it. You start grieving before we're even gone. I saw it in their eyes. The way they looked at me like trying to memorize every hair on my face. The way they took more pictures, as if freezing time. The way their hugs got longer. The way they whispered, "I love you," 3 times instead of once. I heard them on the phone one night, whispering, "I don't know what I'll do without him." Neither do I, but we don't get to choose. Only how we spend the time we have, and we spend it well. There was one last trip, just me and them. No destination really, just driving, windows down, my head out, the wind in my face, carrying 100 smells, grass, other dogs, old food wrappers, something sweet and distant like wildflowers. They played our favorite song. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. We just were. Later that night, we sat under the stars. They wrapped me in a blanket and whispered, "Thank you," as if I'd ever needed thanks. Do you know what it means to be a dog? It means never holding a grudge, never counting minutes apart, never needing anything more than a warm touch and a familiar voice. It means loving you more than we love ourselves. And I did. I still do. You know, I'm getting tired again. My paws feel heavy. My breaths come slower now. But I'm still here. Still remembering that last visit to the vet. I didn't want to go, but I knew it was time. My body told me. The pain was deeper than before, not sharp, just constant. Like a distant thunder you can't run from. They carried me inside, held me in their arms the whole time. The vet spoke gently, explained things. My human nodded, but didn't speak. Just kept running their hand over my back, over and over, like they were trying to keep me here with touch alone. I wanted to lick their tears away, to tell them it was okay, that I wasn't scared, but I couldn't move much. I just looked up, into their eyes, the same eyes that met mine all those years ago through a cage door. They whispered, "You can rest now, Max." And I believed them, because they've never lied to me. Not once. Now I'm back home, the place I love, my blanket, my human, the last sunbeam of the day stretching across the floor. I know what's coming, and I'm ready. But before I go, I want to say something. To you, the one listening, love like we do, without question, without fear, without keeping score. Forgive quickly, snuggle often, eat the treats, chase the joy, and when the time comes to say goodbye, be brave. Not because it doesn't hurt, but because it does, and that means it mattered. I hope my human knows that. I hope they know I wouldn't change a thing. Not the bee sting, not the rain walks, not even the vet visits. Because every single second I got to spend with them, it was everything. My name is Max. I was loved. I still am. And if love means anything at all, I'll never really be gone. The sun sets. The tail stops wagging, but the love, it stays forever.